Hello all, welcome to Stock Market Analysis. I was on vacation for last couple of weeks. Now I'm back now, so I should have time to post daily updates. And I'm planning to open a member-only videos. Basically, I will be posting a couple of times a day using my buy level and sell levels. I should be able to post a couple of times a day for members only. And there's a link in my description here, my video description if you want to subscribe. But what I will do is for this week, I will show you a preview for free to everybody how it looks like, and I will be giving buy and sell levels for day trades, and I will show you how indices are doing and which stocks particularly are in the buy zone. And if you remember, you can ask me a particular stock and any details about them. I can show you a quick levels for that stock, and I will also be replying to your comments. And if you're not subscribed, it's okay. I will be posting a daily videos, and you can take a look, and that's also very educational. All right, guys. So starting with Bitcoin, those who are new, I will start with Bitcoin. I will start with crypto. Then we'll go over a broader indices: S&P 500, Nasdaq, Dow Jones, Russell 2000. Then we'll look into all the commodities, and then basically at the end we'll look into tech sectors and other stocks. And then I will give you at the end stocks that are in buy zone using my indicator, which has predicted very well. Latest trade UNH up, you can see on Friday 7.24%. I've been buying this for the pop, and I'm in good profits here. Okay, guys, so let's start with crypto. So this is Bitcoin, basically live market right now. And you can see this is daily chart of Bitcoin, and you can see this trend line, this white trend line. Nicely, Bitcoin is holding this trend line. And you can see we are right around this 32K resistance. You can see the top is around 32K. And we are just, you can see here, Bitcoin made a bear flag and then broke down. And now Bitcoin is, maybe it's making a bull flag. That's possible, okay? And if you're a bull, I'll give you both scenarios. If you're a bull, this could be a bull flag, and and if you're a bull, the measured target of the move could be. So let's see from the top of the flag to the bottom. If you move this, if this thing breaks out, it could be around here, around 38,000. So if you're a bull, you will be looking for a breakout to here, and that's again gonna be in somewhere around a big resistance here. So you can say this whole area here. So it can come something like this. You can see this whole area. Let me zoom down. You can see this whole area is a big resistance. So it's possible we can go there and then consolidate here. So that's your best scenario if you're a bull. And let me get rid of this for now. But if you're a bear, you can see what's happening here. The thing which is bothering me is Bitcoin is making a new high. You can see a couple of days ago, Bitcoin made a new high. I think there was an XRP news where there's something to do with lawsuit and some good news about XRP. So the entire crypto pumped, and the next day the whole thing was given back by Bitcoin. Okay, which is not really a good sign. But you can see we made a new high here, slightly new high, around almost 38, 31,897, but you can see it was lower momentum. These are momentum indicators. This is PPO and RSI. You can see PPO here we made a new high, but PPO was lower, RSI was lower, and you can see also here if I zoom this in, you can see we had a bearish crossover on PPO. You can see green line is below red line, which is not a good sign. So you want to see green line above red line, or just stay there, okay? You don't want to see green line above. You don't want to see green and below red line. Now you have to wait, and you can see also these red bars are printed, so that's a bearish sign. You have to wait for this to change to be a bullish bull again. Okay, so right now all indicators are pointing to bearish, and then you can also see on RSI we got a red dot. You can see this is also the red dot with that candle we received on Friday, and we got a sell signal. Okay, so you can see this red dot here came here again on Wednesday 5th of July. So when we got this red dot here, let's see here, Wednesday 5th of July. So you can see this red dot to the bottom of here. We had around 3.5%, which is not bad. But you can see here also we had a red dot here. You can see whenever we get a red dot, we usually Bitcoin goes. This one was around 8%. And let's see this one. You can see this one red dot. It was here on this candle. So when we printed that red candle, you can see Bitcoin went all the way to 10%. Okay, so this is just an example. So you really want to see a green dot, like here when you got a green dot, Bitcoin pumped. So let's see this day we got a green dot from here till the red dot. here Bitcoin almost pump 21%. Okay, so you can see this move here with XRP news. We did get a green dot, but immediately followed by a red dot, which is not a good sign. Now, there is this trend line, so it's quite possible Bitcoin can come back to this trend line. Let's go to 1 hour chart and see if there's anything different. You can see 1 hour chart, Bitcoin made a new high here on Thursday, 13th of July. But you can see with the big divergence on, you can see here on PPO. So let me get the right tool. You can see PPO was making a lower high. You can see here new high, but PPO is lower high. And same thing with RSI. You can see here Bitcoin. You can see RSI was also low. Okay, so now this is a spike up. This is a quick spike up. I don't like these immediate moves because that can be followed by a quick spike down. Okay, there's not a lot of volume here, not a lot of confluence here. So basically, you can see how what happened here: spike down, spike up. So basically, you can see spike down, spike up. You can see down, up. So now it's up. It's possible it can come down all the way to this trend line at minimum. And I want to give you levels. Let's see from the bottom to the top. So bottom to this top, we have around here around between 24,000 to 20,000. That's the daily chart. So there's this one level here. That's the long-term. Bitcoin will come here to fill this gap. I will show you on futures. Let's quickly look at that, and I will show you what I'm talking about. You can see Bitcoin future. This is CME futures. You can see this gap here. Bitcoin pumped around 20,160. This gap will fill. I don't know when. Eventually, it will fill, but just keep that in mind. Okay. Let's go to Bitcoin daily chart, and then for now, if I go through this previous low, if I draw Fibonacci retracement from this low to this high, so for now, it's around here is a perfect buy zone for you. Okay, so between 27,273 to 28,937, that's a perfect buy zone, and that's where the trend line is also coming. So I think at immediately I'm looking for Bitcoin to go touch this trend line and then find support, and then maybe it will try again for a bounce higher. Now the bigger thing is, if you're a bull, you really want this 32K resistance to cross. The longer it stays below that, it's going to be bearish. So really want this to cross. Okay, if you are if you're in profit, take profits here. Wait for a breakout above 32K to buy again. Okay, because if it breaks out above 32K, there's a lot of room to run. Okay, so around 32K to here, it's almost around 18% run. Okay, so you should be able to catch that move. But for now, I think we will expect a little bit of weakness, and at minimum look for this trend line. And I will be, when we are here, let's see if this trend line holds, and if not, then it's going to be here. This is a good buy zone. All right. Ethereum, so let's see Ethereum. It's around 1927, same thing. We are in this channel, so I can just expand this channel, and Ethereum is holding this trend line. You can see we had a fake down, and now it's coming very close to this trend line. So the bottom of this trend line is around 1826, so let's say around 1800. But Ethereum is in this consolidation range for so long. You can see here breakout. This was a fake out, came back to this channel, then broke down. This was also a fake move, then again back to this channel, then again breakout, and now again this channel. Okay, so Ethereum is going nowhere for like a while. Let's go to 1 hour chart and see what's happening. So you can see this high here. Let's quickly see. I haven't updated this chart. So there was no divergence. So that's a good sign on Ethereum. So Ethereum made a new high with PPO is also higher. RSI is also higher. So that's very good. So Ethereum showing no divergence on 1 hour chart. So Ethereum is holding better than Bitcoin. So yeah, just keep an eye on this trend line. But overall, I think Ethereum will do as whatever Bitcoin is doing. But for now, I think this is looking good. It can go as low as 1800, and if it goes there, look to buy there. And then also there's big resistance here around 2135. So Ethereum has to really cross that to move to this next zone, which is around 2750. Okay, so yeah, still basically it has to go out of this channel. All right, and I want to show you something on Ethereum as well. On daily chart, Ethereum has a gap. Let's quickly go. You can see this gap here around 4128. So daily chart has a big gap, so keep an eye on that gap. Okay, all right guys, that's it for crypto, and I'm gonna go to broader indices. And if you're leaving, please hit the like button. It's thumbs up button. It only takes 1 second to like. I would really appreciate that. Okay. All right. Let's go to broader indices. You can see VIX here. Uh, Again, it's perfectly as what I have drawn here before my vacation. And you can see actually there was a gap here. I had the gap and his gap is filled, so we can get rid of this gap. So you can see there are no gaps to the downside. And also there's another gap here, so we can also get rid of this gap. This was also taken out. So I don't see any other gaps on VIX. So that means VIX is ready to bounce. It is possible. So let's update this. And let's go to daily chart and see. I think somebody told me there was a gap here. Let's quickly zoom in and see if there was a gap here. So this gap was filled. And was there a gap here? Uh, I cannot find a gap here, so I'll have to check later on. But anyhow, so VIX is basically consolidating. You can see here, we can see it made a new low here on divergence. On you can see how PPO has a divergence from previous low. So you can see new low on divergence on PPO, and even RSI is going higher. You can see here from here to here. You can see how nicely there's a divergence. So Bitcoin, VIX is going lower on divergences. So basically, VIX is ready to bounce any day, and you got to be ready, okay? And let's go to let's add SMA lines. And you can see VIX is below this. Red line is 50 EMA line, sorry, 50 SMA line. Yellow line is 50 EMA line. As long as VIX is below this line, which is around 1552, no need to be too worried. It's going to be a bull market. If it bounces again above this, then it's going to be a thing to be careful of. Let's quickly look at weekly chart of VIX. You can see VIX is very close to the bottom here, which is around 12. So it can go a little bit more lower. It's possible. You can see in 2018, VIX was here for a while, then jump, 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 jump. So it can still consolidate for a couple of weeks and then jump. So that's quite possible. But yeah, it's about time when we gotta be a bit careful because I do expect a weakness, which could be a good buying the opportunity. Okay, so let's quickly look at US 5000, which is S&P 500, and let's quickly look at SPY, which is the ETF which represents S&P 500. So let me show you a 1 hour chart. Let me hide these SMA lines. And you can see on 1 hour chart, you can see how many gaps are here, okay? You can see this gap around 446, there's a gap around 443, there's a gap around 420, there's a gap around 404, there's a gap around 394. So most of these gaps will be filled. I just don't know when, okay? So so just be careful, guys. We're going to this all-time highs, which is very close now. So from here to all-time highs, which is around 44.68, only 4% left. Okay, so we are near the top, which is a very good sign for the bulls. But let's be a bit careful here, okay, because we are due for a little bit of dip. And there's this trend line you can watch, and on there you can see all these gaps to the downside. You have to be very careful of, okay? And also there's this chart which I recently developed. This is the SPY chart. You can see here whenever we are close to, so you can see these, focus on these lines, purple lines. So SPY can go as high as 461. That will be a great shorting opportunity and can go as low as 428. Okay, I want to show you how this thing chart works. So if it goes close to purple line, that's a very good shorting opportunity, and this is mainly for day trade. If it goes to red line, you can really short for like quick swing trade, like a quick percentage down trade. And then if it comes to bottom purple line or bottom near close to bottom red line, that's a good buy zone. And you can see here sometimes it goes to bottom purple line, that's the best buy zone. Okay, so this is just an example of another chart. You can make something like this if you're using thinkorswim. But again, these are all the gaps, massive gaps. Even on daily you can see a massive gap around 420, and there's a gap here around 404. There's a gap around 394. So just be careful, guys. Don't get too bullish here. Wait for a dip. At minimum, if you did not buy until now, just wait, okay? And you can see SPY is way above green line, which is 10 moving average. So it has to come back. So every time it goes above green line too far, it comes back to retrace it. Okay, so I think it's going to come back at minimum 443. Quite possible to retrace it. You can see every time it's above this green line, it comes back to touch it. Okay, or go below it. So also red line. So red line is going higher. So it's quite possible if this is a bigger correction, it can go and again touch this red line, or it can even come and fill this gap. So anyhow, we are just making a topping process. That's what I think, and we're down due for a pullback. And also you can see what's happening here on momentum indicators too. You can see on PPO we are having a divergence. SPY just made a new high, and PPO is going lower, and also RSI is going lower. And you can see, um, let's quickly look at 1 hour chart if you see anything different. Even on 1 hour chart, you can see same thing here. You can see divergence on PPO and same thing on RSI. Okay, that's very oversold. You can see these green lines, which is representing oversold condition. So just be careful. That's the message here. Triple Qs, which is Nasdaq. Again, same thing. You can see it made a new high here with divergence on big divergence on PPO, and same thing on RSI. Big divergence here. So just be careful. And you can see all. If I go to 1 hour chart, all these gaps to fill. Even on 1 hour chart, you can see we made a new high here on Friday at around 10:30, and then you can see even on 1 hour chart, there's a big divergence here. All right. And also, I think earnings are coming very soon. Tesla and Netflix are on Wednesday, I think. So if something goes wrong, we can get a big dip, and that could be the trigger for this sell-off. Okay. So again, 1 hour chart, you can see all these gaps here. If I go to daily chart, it's easier to see. And also this trend line here. Let me hide this SMA lines so you can see it properly. You can see all this trend line. You can see all these green lines are the gaps to fill. So again, I think this is in a topping process, and eventually we are coming down. Down at minimum. I'm looking for this trend line to touch, and there's a massive gap here around 332. That's also possible. Okay. On Nasdaq, I'm still thinking we can come around 13,500. That would be a good area to go long. So from here, if I draw a Fibonacci retracement, so it's around here. Okay. So this is the area I'm looking for Nasdaq to eventually come down, and that will be from let's see, top on Friday to here around 13.5. That could be around 13.5%, 13.5% down. And if I go to triple Qs, let's see what levels it brings to. If I go to 13.5% down, so it's exactly where the gap is. So let's keep 332 as our target. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this, let's say, pink. So I remember that's my eventual target. So I think eventually we're gonna come there sometime this year. All right, so let's go to Dow Jones, which is uh, industrial stocks, and you can see Dow Jones again. Is it in the still from all-time highs a bit far? Let's go to 1 hour chart and see there are these multiple gaps. Okay, but Dow Jones has been in this range. You can see is if I go to weekly chart, you can see it's in like a flag. Okay, so like a flag. So if it breaks out, you can see here how it was in like consolidation. Eventually it broke out. So it is possible it can break out, and then if it breaks out of this flag, because Dow Jones has been one of the weakest other than IWM, because it is quite possible money can start flowing into Dow Jones after Nasdaq. So you can see here, so if I do a breakout, it can easily go to new all-time high to 380. Okay, so if you're a bull, that's quite possible. And let's go to again daily chart, and let's see here. Just be careful of these gaps to the downside, but I don't see. There's also these couple of gaps here on Dow Jones to the upside. So you can see here, it's quite possible here, somewhere around here. Let me draw it. So it's yeah, like here. So we're gonna make up gaps yellow. So it is quite possible we can make a new highs very soon. Okay, because especially because now healthcare stocks are starting to pump, so now we are going higher. So even if we get a little bit pullback, there's a gap here. Just be mindful of that. But with it all depends on the earnings. So we are in the earnings season. It all depends market direction where it goes. So I don't know. I'm maybe we'll get a dip and then go higher, but I'm gonna just leave it like that. I'm not really sure. So actually, I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm not really sure on the next direction of Dow Jones right now. IWM, uh, it did make a new high, and you can see still divergences are on PPO. You can see how here we still have a big negative divergence. Okay, we cannot do this, we cannot take this because this is from here. Let's see. You can see a divergence on PPO. RSI, no divergence, so that's a good sign. And let's quickly look at 1 hour chart. This gap is still not filled around 190. There's another gap around 182. So we'll see if this gap's going to be filled very soon. But IWM looks like it can come back to fill this gap before bouncing. And then there's this a massive gap here around 175. So be aware of that gap. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Be a bit careful on IWM. If anything, wait for a dip. Also, there's a big gap here. Let's mark it. Eventually, it's going to be filled. So let's quickly fill this gap. Sorry, mark this gap here. So let's make it there so we know there are multiple gaps on IWM as well to the upside. So anyhow, I'm waiting, looking for a little bit of dip, then a bounce. I don't know how much this will be, and let's draw a trend line on RWM. We can also look for a touch of this trend line, worst case, okay? And maybe it will come hit this trend line and then bounce. So maybe we'll fill this gap at a later stage, 175. Okay, so those are all the sectors here. Natural gas broke this trend line. So now, which is not a good sign. Let me get these SMA lines here. So you can see it broke this trend line. And the good thing is it's still holding this 50 SMA line, which is the red line, daily 50 SMA. So keep an eye on that. I really don't want this to go below that, because if it goes below that, that's not a good sign. Let's go to 1 hour chart. You can see there was this gap here when we bounced. So we had a bounce here and I sold right here because I will show you my charts. They were showing to sell it. So I sold around here and now it's going to get very close to the buy zone. I'll show you at the end of the day. Sorry, not at the end of this episode. What are the levels on natural gas? It's in the buy zone. And right now you can see it made a new low on divergence, so which is a good sign. So basically what it's doing is making a new low on 1 hour chart with the PPO and RSI going higher. You can see here, so that's a good sign. And but on the daily chart, I really want this to hold right where it is right now, around 2.15. If it can hold, it can definitely bounce. I really don't want it to go below that too much, okay? Crude oil is in this range, trading range. You can see, let me quickly hide this SMA lines. You can see crude oil in this range here. So it broke out on Thursday. Now it will sell off on a Friday, and now it's again back in this channel. So this whole resistance, it could be a support now. If it comes really down, that's not a good sign. It's going to go all the way down. It can go all the way down to the bottom of the channel. Okay, so be careful on crude oil. Gold, basically, I think this is where I should be looking for a big resistance on gold. You can see this whole area. Gold is not going to be easy to pass. And let's make this red and let's make this fill red. So this is where I really want this weakness to come. And there's this gap around 1870. I really want gold to fill that gap. That will be really good area before we go to the all-time high. Okay. So that's what I'm expecting. Silver, same thing. Want this weakness to come. So let's update these charts. So I'm really looking for silver to follow gold and looking for this trend line to touch and then go higher, right? So that's what I'm really expecting silver will do. Sorry, let me fix this. Oops, sorry. Where did it go? All right, here's the trend line. I just wanted to make sure Just want to make sure that I draw this trend line right. Can make something like this or this. It's not a cleanest of trend line, so let's keep it like that for now. So it touches all the dots here. All right, here you go. Okay, so waiting for some weakness and then a bounce. Covered Bitcoin bonds, basically same as again, very nicely touched the bottom. So I think bottom is in my opinion, and bond will should find support and go higher. If I draw a Fibonacci retracement from here to the top, where can we find some support? Let me fix this on bonds. So TLT, this is actually TLT. If you guys don't know what this is, then this is TLT, and this is where you should be looking to buy. And let's draw that box here. Actually, here this is the great buy zone for TLT, and it might come there next week. And if it comes there, look to buy TLT of that. Okay, so let me get rid of this. So this is what I'm expecting on TLT. Dollar dollar is looking weak, and which is going to be good. Actually, not. Sorry, I take it back. Dollar is about to bottom here. You can see how nicely it came very close to the bottom area. I think dollar is about to pump now, and that's going to be bearish for gold and stock market. So I think dollar is getting ready. It's very, very oversold here, and you can see on here on PPO, it's still making a divergence, and RSI is not showing divergence. But so one of the momentum indicators is showing divergence. RSI is very oversold, so I'm looking for a bounce, and this support did not hold. This could now act as a resistance. So let's make this red, and yeah. So I think dollar is getting ready for a bounce, and that's going to be weak for gold. It's actually selling, and Bitcoin should also sell. All right. Let's quickly look at copper. Copper is doing really good. Came to the buy zone, looking good. It's by the dip now on copper, so this we can get rid of this zone. So it's by the dip. It looks like copper is bottomed. So let's draw a fib retracement from here to high here. Let's see where we can buy copper. Any pullbacks? Look to buy copper. This is the area to buy. So let's make this green. And CPER is the ETF you can look to buy. So let's get rid of this one. So this is what I'm expecting. Let's make a path here. So bounce and bounce here. All right. CPR is the ETF you want to trade border. Copper, palladium, palladium. Sorry, not palladium. You can see this is a bullish falling wedge, and it broke down, and now basically again in this wedge broke down, and then again went all the way up. Now it's again back in the wedge. I really want this wedge to go out for to trade it one way or another. Let's see if I can make something like this. No, actually, I don't like that. I like it how it was before. Okay, so yeah, look for this to again go one way or another. Okay, if it goes, it can go all the way to the bottom and have some divergence. You can see here we had a divergence on palladium. PP on RSI, it can still do that. It can go lower with some divergence. So that will be another good buying opportunity. Wait for this wedge to break out. Con making a bear flag, okay, and you can see I don't see any indications of I can see a little bit of divergence on PPO on con, little bit of divergence, and you can see we printed a green buy signal on let's see on Friday, which is a good sign, and you can see green line is about to cross red line, so con could be ready for up bounce. You can see this straight move down, it can go straight move up, okay. So if you're a bull, I think let's go to 1 hour chart. Let's see if we see any divergences. You can see very nicely here, which is a good sign. New low made here, and PPO was going higher. RSI was going higher, which is a very good sign on con. So con looks like it might have bottomed. Sorry, this for some reason uh, you can see here RSI. I have to make it better here. Sorry, RSI looks like there's no divergence on RSI, so I'm going to get rid of this, but PPO is showing massive divergence, okay? So which is a good sign, and wait for this cross to happen. We already got a green buy dot on con. Wheat, Again, this wedge here, you can see it broke out of this wedge, and then again now it's in the back testing of this wedge. Okay, on basically Wednesday it closed below, and it got recovered on Thursday, and then Friday massive pump. Okay, so looks like wheat is good for another run from here. All right, so let's see soya beans. Soya beans, again, back on this, back to previous, almost very close to the highs. And you can see here, I had this projection and nothing is changed. Let's go bring some of the SMA lines to see if there's anything different here. You can see we just got a green signal here on soybean. And yeah, everything is looking good. It closed above this blue line, which is 200 SMA line. As long as it's above that, look for a pump higher, okay? Sugar, again, it's back testing it. But yeah, I really want sugar to fail here. If it doesn't fail here, then it's going to be in an uptrend. And let's see what happens. This is where you should be looking to sell. It's like back testing this trend line right here, okay? If it recovers, it goes above this trend line, then that's very bullish sign for sugar. Let's keep moving. Let's look at all the sectors. XLE sector, which is energy sector, uh, looking for this gap to fill. So I'm not too bullish this year on energy because energy did really good in bull market. So I'm thinking it's going to lag in bear market. So I'm not really bullish on energy. So I will be bullish if it comes and fill this gap. I don't know when, but we'll see. Healthcare sector looking really good. You can see if I zoom in, you can see it's above all the EMA and SMA lines, which is a very good sign. Okay, you can see there's a gap, although it gapped up because of UNH earnings, but looking good. Again, it's getting very close to this previous high. Let's see 1 hour chart. Is there a gap here? Yeah, there's a gap here, so I think that's quite possible. It's gonna go and fill this gap, and then if that fills, then I think we're looking for new all-time highs on healthcare sector. Healthcare sector has been weak for a while, and this is the second biggest sector in S&P 500. So it's good that it's coming back to live now. Utility is good, looking good. Nothing changed. You can see it's on this nice trend line, and you can see we have a little bit gaps, but there's gap to the top side. I'm looking for a bounce. Any tags of this trend line look to bounce. Look to buy. Industrial sector. Wow, what a pump here on industrial sector. It's a new high, but it's on divergence. You can see how PPO is on a divergence, RSI is also on a divergence here, okay? So which is not a good sign, but yeah, it's already in a new all-time high, so nothing to lose. We should be here looking to take profits. Real estate sector, I think there's this trend line here, so just keep an eye on this trend line, and it's above all the moving averages, although they're saying rates are going higher, but it's not affecting looks like real estate sector. So there's a gap again here, but I will be looking for some weakness and look to buy any of the dips. XLF, basically a pump with JP Morgan earnings and then gave all the gains back, which is not a good sign. So now there are multiple gaps to the downside. So I'm looking for these couple of gaps to fill. I don't know how low we'll go. At minimum, I'm looking for this gap, but we can come all the way down. There's a big gap here around 33, 31.97. It's quite possible we can go all the way down to fill that gap. Okay, so just be careful on financial sectors. Banks are looking very weak at this time. And let's quickly look at tech stocks. Let's go with Tesla. Let me hide these. So you can see all these green lines are the gaps to fill. If I hide these SMA lines, you can see all these green lines are the gaps to fill. And you can see Tesla is also on a divergence. It's making a new high, but on divergence on PPO and RSI. So this is time to be cautious. Um, Earnings are, I think, when it's coming Wednesday. So be very careful here. If something goes wrong, I think the chart are set up for a dump, okay? And you can see there are multiple gaps. All these green lines are the gaps to fill now. I don't know how low it will go. Take your pick, but it all depends on the earnings, okay? It is quite possible this is a massive gap here around 235. At minimum, we will go and fill that gap. Apple, same thing. This bearish rising wedge, you can see divergence on PPO. RSI has no divergence, but let's see, recently did it make new divergence? No. We got a sell signal, and also this is a bearish crossover. So also there are multiple gaps. So you decide, do you want to buy Apple here? I don't think it's a good idea to buy Apple here. Google again bouncing, and this gap here at minimum 113 is my target. Microsoft, multiple gaps to the downside, massive gap here. So again, I'm not gonna be buying any tech stocks here. Meta keep going higher on this trend line, broke down, again up, now again up above that. But the issue is all these gaps, okay? All these gaps are filled 90% of the time, 95% times it will be filled. So be careful. Same thing with Amazon. Big divergence on RSI. You can see here, new high, divergence, PPO, same thing, divergence. Time to be careful. Netflix, again, multiple gaps. I don't like gaps, guys. Like gaps are filled, so just be careful. It you might not even get chance to react when these guys decide to start dump. Okay. Bank of Canada is keep increasing rates. I don't see why US will not increase, so be very careful. Snowflakes also looking for down. There's a gap here, another gap here around 136. NVDA, massive gap here to the downside, multiple gaps. If earnings are not good, we're gonna see a massive dump. We still have a while to go. See earnings, AMD. You can see this looks like a rejection candle, guys. Big rejection candle. Uh, this is, yeah, multiple levels down it can go. Intel is something, if you want to really buy, it's not that up from previous highs, so this is something really good compared to AMD and NVIDIA. You can take block profits on AMD and NVIDIA. You can buy something like Intel, which is really good, okay? And also Zoom is looking good, guys. Zoom is also another stock. You can see it keeps going down with some divergence, huge divergence on PPO and RSI. This is looking good for amounts, so keep an eye on Zoom, okay? This guy can run. If I show you monthly, weekly chart on Zoom, it's right where it started. Right where it started around 60 bucks, okay? 60, 70 bucks. So it cannot really go too much lower from here. This is a very good area this is a very good stock to buy here. All right. And Disney is another one which is very good to buy. It's again same thing like Zoom. If I go to weekly chart, again, this the price you're gonna get right now is same as price in 2015. So this is something you can look to add in your long-term portfolio. And let's quickly look into now stocks to buy as soon as tomorrow. So let me add my standard deviation indicator. Let's quickly see if we can see where we are. So let's start with US 500. You can see it's in the middle of nowhere zone. So tomorrow morning I will share quick updates and I will show you where the futures are. These are live futures. So these are the levels. The green lines are the levels to buy. This is first standard deviation, second standard deviation, third standard deviation, 44.85 and below look to buy. SPX, US 100, NASDAQ 15,449 and below look to buy. US 30 Dow Jones is in the middle, no trade zone, 34,316 and below look to buy. Russell 2000, very close to the buy zone, guys. It came to the buy zone on Friday, and if you bought it, that was a good target. It can now, again, if it touches on Monday in this buy zone, 1923, 1914, and around 1904, look to buy for a bounce. Natural gas is very close to the buy zone, so if it touches 2.50 and below, look to buy natural gas. Okay, or crude oil is already in the buy zone, so this is where you should be. So these buy zones are for a quick trade zone, guys. Okay, if you're buying here, look to sell as soon as you're in the profit. Look to sell in the middle or above. The best sell would be if it touches first standard deviation red line, but you never often get that. So as soon as you get a profit around 1%, look to sell. Okay, so crude oil is in the buy zone. Gold, let's quickly see. Very close to the buy zone. So 1947, 1941, 1934 look to buy, or sorry, silver. sorry, gold. Silver still ways away from the buy zone, 2420, 2379, and 23384 is the buy zone. Just want to show you Bitcoin. It came to the buy zone. You can see here throughout the weekend, touch buy zones multiple of times, and now it's in the middle, no trade zone. Goes to 30,455 and up, look to sell. If it comes back below 32,021, 3132, 30,000, look to buy. Okay. Ethereum's, it was in the buy zone a couple of hours ago, and now these are the buy zones to the downside, 1922, 1950, 1907. Let me quickly now, let's see, copper, no trade zone, palladium, no trade zone, corn, no trade zone, wheat, no sell zone actually, soybeans, no trade zone, sugar, sell zone, SPY is in the sell zone, triple Qs is in the sell zone, Dow Jones is in the sell zone, IWM basically a bit higher but in the no trade zone. Let's quickly look at gold miners in the sell zone. Let's see XLE, very close to the buy zone. So XLE is the ETF you should be looking to buy, and XOM is the stock which is in the buy zone. I'm actually myself personally looking to buy it very soon. Maybe I will buy it as soon as on Monday. You can see it's below second standard deviation, which is a very good sign. CNQ is still not in the buy zone. I might buy CNQ because it's Canadian stock and I like it better. But let's see, Enbridge in the no trade zone. Let's quickly go to all other stocks and see how they're doing. Tesla is in near the sell zone, but not in the sell zone. Apple is in the middle. Let's quickly look at Meta, no trade zone. Netflix, not still close. No snowflakes far. NVDA very far. Intel, nothing. Shopify, sell zone. Let's see which sold prop. Cisco is in the buy zone, guys. You can see Cisco is in the buy zone to buy here. Disney very close to the buy zone. If it falls below $88, look to buy. Honeywell close to buy zone. Boeing close to buy zone. Uber no trade zone. Verizon is also in the buy zone. You can see Verizon from last couple of days in the buy zone with some bullish divergence on. You can see PPO. It's going lower. Divergences are happening. Verizon is looking good to buy. Okay, forgot about these triple X ETFs. And let's see if I think Citigroup Citigroup had earnings and it just dumped 4%. It's in the buy zone. And let's see BSE, no trade zone. And I think I already showed you XOM and CNQ. So what I will do here now is I'm going to put these two stocks up because I think they're looking really, really nice for Monday's trade. And I really like CNQ. It's a biggest Canadian oil miner, similar to basically XOM. So these two are looking really good. So I'll be looking to make a trade. Let's see. UNH is the one which I bought. We can see it's up 7%. It's in the sell zone, but I do think it can run. It's just started to run. These zones are just quick trade zone. We can see since here 21, it was just in this like a chop zone. If this was a big flag, let's quickly go to weekly chart. See if it sets up as a flag, then that's a very good sign. It can be ready to pump higher. Okay, it can go to new all-time highs from here. So anyhow, I'm holding UNH. There's also on daily chart, there are multiple gaps. At minimum, I'm looking for this gap fill around 488 to take profits, but I think it has a room to run. This is trend line here, so I think it can come from here to at minimum this trend line, which is from here. It's around almost 6%. All right. Okay, guys, I think that was very helpful, this information. And if you're still here, please hit the like button on your way out. And I wish you a great rest of the night. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye.